Hi everybody, Monica Lewis with J.S. Brown and Company, and today I'd like to talk to you again in our series of asking good questions for homeowners that are considering remodeling. One of the questions that I don't think gets asked of contractors nearly enough is about their financial stability, which is going to be predicated mostly on how well they manage their cash flow over the course of your job. Recently, it's been big news in the remodeling industry that this fairly large multi-state company, Renovo Home Partners, this was a company that they went under. And this company was built on the back of private equity. They went around, they do what private equity does, and they scooped up a bunch of small companies and they sort of stripped out what they could from them, tried to make them more profitable, and joined them all together, backed them, and expected to make a bunch of money. And apparently they hit some hard times. Nobody knows exactly what happened yet at this point, but without notice, they shut the doors, turned out the lights, told all the employees they were no longer employed, and are presumably filing Chapter 7 bankruptcy. So this means that in multiple states, in multiple areas, there are lots of consumers, lots of homeowners saying, who's going to finish my project and how much is it going to cost and how do I find somebody? There are subcontractors and suppliers who've done work or provided materials that they're not going to get paid for. And there are a bunch of employees that are wondering, am I even going to get my paycheck and my commissions and things that I am due? Now, this is obviously terrible, right, for everybody concerned. But unfortunately, it's not unusual. And I've been in this business a very long time, and I remember the housing crisis in the early 2000s and in the first decade there of the 2000s. And this happened in Central Ohio. We had large, well-known companies go out of business without warning. Just they're open one day and the next day they're closed. And the ripple effect of that, where subcontractors were filing liens against these homes, and suppliers were running around as soon as they heard the news, and they're running around to job sites and picking up lumber packages and window packages and things that they had just delivered the day before. They're picking them up and taking them back because they didn't get paid. And obviously they're trying to protect themselves, right, from the losses there. But the poor homeowners, I mean, my gosh, they've got a project that's barely underway or halfway done. All of a sudden they've got liens on their property. They may have paid so much on this, may have paid more for this project than work that has actually been completed. So now they've already paid for work that isn't done. They've got to pay the subs and suppliers that were supposed to get paid. They've got to pay them to get the liens removed from their house. And then they've got to go pay again to have somebody come in and deliver the material or do the work that needs to be done to finish this project. And all of that is a delay, right? Everything stops while the homeowners have to figure this out and get things going again. So it's just terrible for the clients, for the homeowners involved. And because of that, that's the important question, right, for homeowners to ask. This business is tough. Cash flow is tough to manage. And there are busy times and slow times. There are delays, weather delays, material delays. We had a job here at J.S. Brown and Company that earlier this year was delayed for months because we could not get the utilities to cooperate with us and come out in a timely way and move the stuff, right, that was in the way of this addition that needed to happen. And we can't force them to do anything. They're these huge companies, right? So how did we keep going? Even though we were expecting that income to still be coming in, how did that not affect us, right? Well, what we do as a company here at J.S. Brown is we set up every draw payment schedule for every job that we sell. It is unique and it is custom to that job. We look at that job, we look at the expenses that are going to be coming in, we look at the schedule, and we know when the big expensive bills are going to be coming in. We know when the deposits need to be paid. We know when the trade partners need to be paid. And we set up our draw schedule accordingly. so that when we're collecting a big check from our homeowners, it's because we have big bills coming due. And when we collect a small payment from homeowners, it's because it's not that expensive of a period cash flow wise. So we're only taking the money we need from the homeowners when we need it, so they're not paying too far ahead. But we are getting paid when we're getting invoices so that we can keep the job running in the black on the homeowner's money. So that reason, that process, along with our quality, along with standing behind our work, our great design, our dedication to customer service and communication, those things all go hand in hand. They're the reason why we didn't go out of business, right? Some statistics show that 90% of remodeling companies that start up are out of business in 5 years. I mean, really? That is a sobering statistic. J.S. Browning is just a couple of years away from 50 years serving Central Ohio. We know how to manage our cash flow. And we've got a long history with our vendors. We've got a long history with our bank. We've got a long history with our subcontractors. And so we can manage our cash flow. And we've got a line of credit if something were to ever get too tight. That's the question I think you need to ask a contractor, along with all of the other things like how long is this going to take and what's it going to cost and are you licensed and insured? You know, how do you handle your cash flow and are you financially solvent is another important question you need to be asking. And it's one of the things that experience means. You know, the fact that we've been in business almost 50 years in and of itself doesn't necessarily make us a great contractor, but it does point to the fact that we probably know how to do things right or we wouldn't have lasted this long, right? It's a good secondary indicator that you're dealing with a good company when you see that longevity. So again, just another one of those lists of ask the right questions, and hopefully this was educational for you. And if you have questions, we'd love to hear them in the comments. If you've got topics that you would like to see covered about the remodeling industry, we certainly want to hear about it, and I would love to do more of these for you in the future. So please let us know your thoughts and stick with us. Join us on social media and YouTube and our website at www.jsbrowncompany.com. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great day.